Okay, so the same warm-up as what we've done past couple of weeks. We'll re-go through that. The workout is relatively straightforward. There's one exercise, I'll explain when we get to it, but there's one exercise we might need to adjust the reps on a little bit, but I'll explain it when we get to it. So basically, swivel hips again. So you're going to start, sat on your bum, hands behind your back. It doesn't really matter the position of your fingers, but just make sure they're facing behind. Drop your knees all the way down to one side and just twist them around, drop them down to the other. Just try and get your knees as low down to the floor as you can. And if you roughly kind of count to 10, don't worry about your hip coming up unless you're uber flexible. It's always going to pop up a little bit. Just try and get the knees down as much as you can. And then when you're on that left side, leave your left foot across the front and then stretch that right leg out and go into your left side pigeon stretch. Just try and keep your hips nice and flat. If you need to come up onto your hands, put a little bit more weight through the hip, just come up onto your hands. Pop back onto your bum. Then go back into the swivel hips again. Oh, I've got the sun baking through the window at me. Okay, if you roughly count to 10, don't have to be overly accurate. And then this time you're going to leave the right foot across, stretch that left leg out. So you're on your right side pigeon. So again, if you want to get a little bit more of a stretch on that hip, just come up onto your hands. But again, just try and keep your hips level. So try not to flatten them out. Not flatten them out, try not to twist around. And then from there, put your hands on the floor. Pop your knees out to the side a little bit. Sit back onto your heels. So stretch your arms out, sit back onto your heels, and then just lift up and then go into your seal stretch. So you're kind of rocking backwards and forwards from a kind of child's pose, I think it is. And as you drop the hips down and forward, just have a little look up to the ceiling. Just make sure you don't lose your neck, so keep your shoulders back. Then we'll just do one more. And on that last seal stretch, just curl your toes up, lift your hips up. Then we do 20 mountain climbers, but just count your reps on one side. So let me 1, 2, 3, 4. Then just get to 20. And then once you've got to 20, just pop yourselves back on your butts. Feet roughly shoulder width apart again, but slightly wider than shoulder width, hands behind your back. And we'll just do the whole thing one more time through. So roughly 10 swivel hips. And then when you've roughly done 10, if you do your left side pigeon stretch. So again, either stretch out, or if you need to get a little bit, or you want to get a little bit more of a stretch on that hip, come up onto your hands, and just sit down into it. And just slowly come out of that, back into the swivel hips again. So again, hands behind your back, fingers facing away. Just try and get those knees as close down to the floor as you can. Oh, back feels really tight. Now if you go into your right side, pigeon stretch. So again, just try and keep your hips level, try not to drop down to one side. And if you just bring your leg from underneath, sit back onto your heels, stretch your arms out, and then just rock forward into that seal stretch. So you kind of go in child's pose, or kind of a semi-child's pose, into a seal stretch. Again, on that seal stretch, drop the hips nice and low, and then just look up to the ceiling. And we'll just do 2 more. And let's do one last one. And then on that last one, if you just curl your toes, lift your hips up, and then go into your 20 mountain climbs again. Just count on one leg. And 20. Okay, right. At your workout, you're basically doing EMOM, so every minute on the minute. I was going to do this for a little bit longer, but I've actually shortened it down. You're going to do 18 minutes, but you've got 5 different exercises. So each minute your exercise is going to change, and then you've got a set amount of reps for each exercise to fit in within a minute. So your first minute, you're going to do 24 two-handed swings. Okay, so you should get probably about 20 seconds rest in the minute. So for the swings, let's go through it. So feet roughly shoulder width apart. Knees stay still, hinge at the hips, grab the kettlebell with 2 hands, put it back between the legs, and then just straighten the legs up as fast as you possibly can. And then just relax your arms and shoulders off. So first minute, you got 24 swings. However long that takes you to do the 24 swings, resting whatever time's left in a minute. When the buzzer goes, you should be able to hear it, but I'll give you a countdown. You're then going to do 20 overhead presses. Okay, so for the overhead presses, I'll just do this kneeling down so you can see what I'm doing. Hold on to your kettlebell by the ball, thumb and fingers around the handle. Do it side on a little bit. Straight up overhead. Make sure you get your biceps or your ears right next to your biceps. Bring it straight down in front of your face. And then lock it up. If you find yourself kind of leaning back, just put one foot behind the other and try and stay nice and tall with your torso. If your shoulders completely give up, because 20 reps is quite a few, just use your legs a little bit. So you can kind of turn it into a little bit of a push press. You should get plenty of rest for your overhead press if you fly through it nice and quick. So first minute, 24 swings, rest whatever time's left in a minute. Second minute, 20 overhead presses, rest whatever time's left in a minute. The third minute, this is the one I might need to change the reps on it a little bit. You're going to do double crunches. So an ab exercise, you're going to do 16 reps. Okay, so again, hold on to the kettlebell by the ball, thumb and fingers locked around the handle. Start slight bend in the arm, bring the kettlebell overhead. As it comes overhead, lift your feet up, bring your knees over your hips, kettlebell comes over your head, keep your lower back down, just reach with the kettlebell right over your shins. And then you want to extend your arms and legs out without hitting the floor, and then tuck back in. Okay, so you're keeping your lower back down. You don't need to come right the way up onto your sit bones. Just keep your back down and then reach with the kettlebell over your shins. You're going to do 16 of those. We should get enough rest after those. If we need to change it, we'll know after the first time through. The fourth minute, you're going to go to goblet squats, and you're going to do 20 goblet squats. So for the goblet squats, I don't really mind how you hold on to the kettlebell. I tend to hold it that way around. If you want to hold it that way, like you do for the overhead press, or if you want to hold it that way around, really don't mind. As long as you keep your feet flat on the floor, elbows drilled into the side. If you're coming all the way down to the bottom, just make sure you got your elbows inside your legs. So keep your feet flat on the floor, squat down, stand up, dead straight forward. It is 20 of them, which again is quite a lot. So you're gonna have to motor through the squats. So first minute, 24 swings, rest whatever time's left. Second minute, 20 overhead presses, rest whatever time's left. Third minute, 16 double crunches, rest whatever time's left. Fourth minute, 20 squats, rest whatever time's left. The fifth minute, you're gonna do a plank. Now you've got two choices in this one. Either do a normal plank, so you don't need the kettlebell for it, and just rest on your forearms, but you're gonna do the full minute. Okay, so this is going to be the last one. So for that fifth minute, it's not a set of reps, you're going to do a full minutes of a plank. If a normal plank on your forearm is a little bit too easy, you're going to come to your kettlebell and you're going to try it bottoms up on your kettlebell. Only do this if a normal plank's far, far too easy. You need to make sure the handle of the kettlebell is facing away to the side. So you've not got it kind of that way around, I don't know, you can see. Twist it round, so just like you were setting up for swings, but then you're going to turn the kettlebell upside down. Hands are going to go right over the top, so your kettlebell's bottoms up. Shoulders right over the top of the kettlebell. Step back with one leg, try and steady yourself, and then step back with the other leg. So you're making sure you keep your shoulders right over the top of the kettlebell, so your weight is pretty much just going straight through the handle. Then when you need to come out of it, pop your knees down, and then pop the kettlebell back. If that's a little bit too hard, bear in mind your kettlebell is going to wobble about a little bit, so you need to be fairly stable. You can just do it on the ball of the kettlebell, so you make sure the handle's facing away, so like it is at the minute. And then you can just do the same thing, pop your hands on the top, and then hold it that way. Okay, it's relatively straightforward, that one. So you've got a choice in that fifth minute. Either just do a normal plank on your forearms, or try and do the bottoms up plank. The sixth minute is a complete rest. Okay, so you've got 5 minutes of work, not a full 5 minutes, but you've got 5 minutes of different exercises to work through. That 6th minute is going to be a complete rest. And then for the 7th minute, you're going to go back into the 24 swings again. So the first minute, 24 swings. Second minute, 20 overhead presses. Third minute, 16 crunches. Fourth minute, 20 squats. The fifth minute, a full minute of a plank, whichever one you're doing. And then the 6th minute is complete rest. Okay, you've got to go through it 3 times in total. So it's 18 minutes. Well, it won't be 18 minutes, but it's 17 minutes because you don't need that last minute's rest. And then that's it. So it's dead straightforward. You should get, hopefully, you should be getting about 20 seconds rest on everything. If there's any reps that you struggle with and you're just not getting them in when I'm giving you the countdown, next time round, just lower the reps by however many you need to, just so you get kind of roughly about 20 seconds rest. I think you should be all right. It's only really the crunches that you might struggle on because they're quite tough to there's quite a lot of them as well. So that first minute, 24 swings, rest whatever time's left. Oh, does that make sense? Should be all good. Okay, we're going to go in 10 seconds. So hopefully I've set my iPad up so you can hear it. Okay, in 5, so 24 swings. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So 24 swings. So nice and snappy with the legs. And then once you've done your 24, just rest. You've got 20 seconds. So your next one, you're doing 20 overhead presses. So I'll do this first one kneeling down. Although I'm not sure I can do 20 of them without having to stand up. Okay, you're going in 5 seconds. So hold on to the kettlebell by the ball. Put my fingers locked around the handle. Okay, let's go. So you've got 20 overhead presses. So again, if you find yourself leaning back, just put one leg behind the other, try and straighten up. And then once you've done your 20, shoulder keeps clicking. Again, you're going to rest. You've got another 20 seconds. Your next one is the 16 double crunches. You're going in 15 seconds. This is the one we might not get too much rest on. Okay, if you get yourself set up, you've got 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So 16 crunches. So big stretch out the arms and legs. Try and keep that kettlebell on your feet off the floor. Keep your lower backs down. Reach with the kettlebell over your shins. Whew. 20 seconds left. So your next one, this 4th minute, is 20 goblet squats. Whew. So we're going in 10 seconds. So we're going in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So 20 squats. So again, just keep those feet flat. Keep that kettlebell up at your chest. 30 seconds left. Whew. Okay, next one's your plank. So a full minute. Either bottoms up with the kettlebell or on your forearms. If you're doing it with the kettlebell, make sure the handle's facing out to the side. We're going in 3, 2, 1. 1 minute. So if you're doing this on the kettlebell, make sure your shoulders are right over the top. You want to be pressing down right through the ball and through the handle in a straight line. If you're doing your plank on your forearms, try and keep your elbows right underneath your shoulders. And then try not to clasp your hands together. So if you keep your hands separate, and then your palms down. And then whichever one you're doing, just keep that belly button drawn in, so try not to sag your backs. You've got another 20 seconds. 15 seconds. Last 10. 5 seconds. Oh crap. 3, 2, 1. And slowly, as you're doing the bottoms up, just be careful coming out of it. Whew. So you've got 1 minute, full minute rest. And then you're back onto the 24 swings again. This actually doesn't feel too bad, this one. Might be the easiest workout we've done for a while, this. Oh. Okay, we're going in 20 seconds. So exactly the same. Back onto the 24 swings. So you should get about 20 seconds rest to go. Okay, you're going in 10. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So again, 24. Nice and relaxed with your upper body. Nice and quick. Straighten those legs up. Oh, 15 seconds. See, next one again, I'll do this kneeling down. God, the sun's so hot coming through the window. 20 overhead presses. We're going in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. So get biceps right next to your ears. If you find yourself leaning back, just pop one foot behind the other. If you find that your shoulders are giving up, just revert to your legs a little bit. And once you've done your 20 reps, you've got 20 seconds. Next one's these double crunches. Whew. So again on these, just try and keep your feet in the kettlebell off the floor. Keep your lower backs down. You get yourself set up, you're going in 5, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Let's get 16 crunches. Get big, stretch out those arms and legs. Whew. 20 seconds left. Next one, you're back into your 20 goblet squats. Whew. So we're going in 10. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Then 20 squats. So again, keep that kettlebell at your chest, elbows stuck into your side. Feet flat on the floor. 30 seconds left. Okay, 20 seconds. Whew. Back onto the plank. So again, either on your forearms, or if you want to attempt it bottoms up with the kettlebell. Whew. Okay, we're going in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So again, if you're doing it bottoms up with the kettlebell, make sure those shoulders are right over the top of the ball. So it's just a straight line going through your shoulders, down your arms, through the ball of the kettlebell, down through the handle. If you're on your forearms, keep your elbows underneath your shoulders. And then try and separate your hands, so don't clasp your hands together. Position your palms flat on the floor. You got another 20 seconds. And again, just keep that belly button drawn in. Nice flat back. 10 seconds. Last 5, 3, 2, 1. Be careful coming out the bottom plank. Whew. 1 minute. And we're back onto the swings again. One last time through. So if you wanted to, if you do this again, you could add on more rounds. So we're only doing 3. You could maybe add on an extra round, maybe 2 rounds, 3 rounds, depending on how long you've got. Mix the reps up a little bit. More reps, less reps. Well, not less reps, but more reps. Okay, 15 seconds. So we're back onto the swings, 24 swings. Okay, in 5, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Again, nice and snappy, driving those legs forward. Or the hips forward rather, not your legs. 30 seconds. Whew. 20 seconds left. Let's go your next ones. Your overhead press. Okay, I'll do it kneeling. 10 seconds. So again, just make sure you get your biceps right next to your ears. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Get nice straight arms over the top of your head. So 20 reps. So again, we're back onto the crunches. Last lot of crunches in 20 seconds. Okay, in 10 seconds. So again, big stretch out the arms and legs. Try and keep that kettlebell off the floor. Keep your feet off the floor in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 16 crunches. So again, just make sure you keep that back down and reach with the kettlebell over your shins. And then just make sure you don't bring your knees past your hips. Whew. Oh. 15 seconds. So now you got last lot of squats. So 20 squats. And then that plank to finish. Okay, 3, 2, 1. 20 squats. So again, just keep those elbows in. Kettlebell up at your chest. Feet flat on the floor. Whew. 20 seconds. Okay, last one. Oh, back onto the plank. Final minute. So again, if your bottom's up, make sure the handle's facing out to the side. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So if you are doing it on the kettlebell, make sure your shoulders are right over the top. Again, just keep the back nice and flat. So draw the belly button in, squeeze your glutes. If you're doing it on your forearm, so without the kettlebell, again, just make sure your elbows are right underneath your shoulders. Try not to clasp your hands. 30 seconds. Last 30 seconds. 20 seconds. Last 10. Last 5. 3, 2, 1. And relax it. Whew. Oh. So it might not have been that difficult, but I'm still sweating buckets. Oh. So like I said, if you wanted to, if it felt a little bit too easy, it's quite a nice relaxed one today. You could increase the reps on some of them. Maybe make them all 24 reps or 20 reps. Do more rounds of it. Like I said, we only did 3. You could do maybe 4 or 5 if you've got the time. So all we're going to do now, just turn this off, is stretch out. So if you put yourselves on your mats or on your floor, whatever you're using. Oh my God, that's sun. Knees into your chest. Grab your heels. Try not to grab your toes and yank back on your toes. If you grab your heels, and then if you can slide your feet away or walk your feet away, just try and keep your chest on your thighs so you're not grabbing your toes and then sitting upright and properly arching your back because you don't really get anything on the hamstrings and the calves. Try and keep the chest down. And then if you think about trying to flatten out your forearms on the mat, and then just go as low as you can or as far away with your feet as you can, keeping that chest down. So it doesn't really matter if your legs, like my legs are still a little bit bent, but keep pointing your toes towards your head, and then you should get it on your calves and your hamstrings. And again, if you think about trying to keep those forearms down if possible. And then if you slowly come out of that, and then we'll do left leg in front. If you have any problems with your knees, just put your foot on the inside, but if you can, bring your leg around the back, go into your hurdle stretch, like you're going to jump over a hurdle. Again, bend the left leg at the knee, shift your ribcage over your thigh, and again, try and work your forearms down first, and if you can get your forearms down, then try and straighten up that leg as far as you can before you feel like you need to kind of sit upright. You might find when you're doing these individual legs that you've got one leg a little bit tighter than the other. My left leg is really tight for some reason. Again, keep pulling your toes down, grab your toes, but keep pointing your toes back towards your head. And if you slowly come out of that, bring your right foot out to the side. Just realised looking at the camera with the sun coming through, I look like Casper. So let's see through. So straddle position, so legs as far apart as you can. Clasp your hands together, start over one leg, and then just bounce stuff across to the other leg, and then keep going backwards and forwards. So you're still going to get it on your hamstrings, and then you should get it on the inside of your legs a little bit as well. But just try and keep both butt cheeks down, so try not to hike your hips up. And keep trying to reach a little bit further with each little bounce. And then slowly come out of that, bring your feet back together. So this time, same thing as what you did with your left leg. Any problems with your knees, bring your sole of your foot on the inside of your leg if you can. Bring it round the back. Bend your leg at the knee, shift your ribcage over your thigh. Try and get your forearms down, and then try to straighten that leg up. And again, just try and point your toes back towards your head. And then try not to sit upright. Try and get as low down as you can. So bend your leg, chest on your thighs, forearms down if you can. And then try to straighten that leg up. That's a massive difference in the flexibility of my legs. And then if you slowly come out of that, leave your right leg in front, pop your foot on the floor. Come into your lunge position. So if you make a box, so your calf and your thigh, try and make sure it's a box, so you don't have your foot kind of all the way back. From there, you want to lift the left foot up, try and grab your foot, and then pull your heel in. You should feel it on the quad of your left quad and left hip flexor a little bit. If you can't feel anything, keep a straight line from your knee through your hip all the way up to the shoulders, and then just let yourself lean forward. If you can't grab your foot, you could use a towel. So you could hook a towel. It says struggling to do it. You could hook a towel on your foot and then pull it in. And if you struggle like I just did with that then, shockingly, just go a little bit wider with your feet. And then you can just sink your hips a little bit further into it. So if you can't pick your foot up, just do this one instead. And if you slowly come out of that, just switch your legs around. So again, if you create that box first, and then lift the right foot up and pull the heel in. And if you can't feel anything on that right quad or your right hip flexor at the top, lean forward into it. Try not to just lean forward at the waist. Let your hips drop forward. Again, if you struggle with your foot, you can put a band or a towel around it, or just take a slightly wider position and then drop your hips forward. But again, just keep that straight line. If you're doing this one, keep the straight line from your knee through your hip up to your shoulder. So don't kind of sit upright because you're going to put all the pressure into your lower back. And then if you slowly come out of that, just pop your knees right underneath your hips. Big stretch out the arms. Leave your bum stuck up in the air. And then try and get your chest and your chin down to your mats. And just look at where your hands are. And just get your chest and your chin as low down as you can. So you're really trying to arch that back as much as possible. And if you slowly come out of that, just bring the toes together and then pop your knees out to the side. And then just sit back onto your heels, and you can relax your arms out in front and relax your head down. And if you want to get a little bit more of a stretch all the way down the sides of your back, keep your hips still and then just walk over to one side with your hands. Just try not to move your hips. So you're just reaching across with your hands, and then whichever side you're reaching, you should get a big stretch on the opposite side. So if you do move your hand, you should get a stretch right away from your armpit all the way down your lats. And then if you do one side, just walk your hands across and just make sure you do the other side. But again, just keep your hips still, so try not to move your hips about. And back into the middle. That's it, guys. All done. Another one down. Nice, easy one today for a change.